Hello, hello, and welcome to the weekly energy update for the week of March 9th, 2025. I'm Renee Spears, a spirit guide channeler and spiritual mentor, and I'm coming to you from beautiful Bozeman, Montana. Every Sunday, I share the energy for the week ahead, and I also infuse the show with some positive vibes, so you get a little positive energy boost just for listening. And happy daylight savings time. It will be light until almost 8 o'clock here tonight, so I'm so excited to have the extra light. Now, we talked last week about March being packed full of life-changing events, and this week they really start to amp up. On Thursday night, early Friday morning, around 11:30 p.m. Pacific, 2:30 Eastern, is a total lunar eclipse, and we'll be able to see it in the United States and the Western Hemisphere. During a total lunar eclipse, the Earth comes between the sun and the moon, and it blocks the sunlight from reaching the moon. But instead of going completely dark, the moon turns deep red or orange, and that's why it's called a blood moon. And blood moons bring transformation and significant life-changing events that usually happen within a month of the eclipse. So way back in the day, there were a lot of superstitions around the blood moon eclipses, and they were feared and seen as negative omens, mostly because they brought so much sudden change. Blood moons bring deaths and rebirths, and ultimately they fast-track our spiritual growth and place us exactly where we need to be, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. They accelerate our timeline, helping us make these quantum leaps into new stages of our soul evolution. So this first eclipse of eclipse season happens in Virgo, and this is the first eclipse in Virgo since 2016. And Virgo is the sign of the Virgin, but don't let that fool you. The Virgin is the sovereign goddess who has come into her full power and doesn't need anyone outside of herself. She is whole and strong and knows she has all the wisdom and love she needs. The energy of this eclipse asks us to step into our power too. It may feel like things are out of our control right now, and in so many ways they are, but we have control over how we feel and how we decide to experience this time. So remembering that and returning to our inner strength and intuition is the way to navigate this. Virgo also rules over our day-to-day work projects, our routines and organization skills, and our mental health. So these are all areas we may notice are amped up right now. And this may show up as being overly critical, overthinking, being too much in our heads, and being too harsh or judgmental towards ourselves and others. And we can expect some big life shifts with this eclipse and may experience big aha moments or receive information that rattles us. Blood moon eclipses pull back the curtain and reveal information that's needed to take us to the next chapter of our evolution. And while this info can be painful or uncomfortable, we can trust that it's what's needed to evolve us to the next level. While this eclipse is in Virgo, there's also a lot of watery Pisces energy too, because we have that Pisces stellium happening with the Sun, Saturn, North Node, and Neptune all in Pisces, and all within a few degrees of each other. So all this Pisces energy heightens the energy of the eclipse, and we may feel extra sensitive or emotional. So we really need to focus on keeping ourselves in balance. That is our work this week. Actually, that's our work this month. So increase your meditation time and your yoga practice. And since it's warming up and we have more light, get out in nature. When we spend time in nature, our vibration syncs up with the vibration of the earth. And we just naturally feel calmer and more balanced. It's just an easy way to stay in balance. All this Pisces energy and the energy of the full moon also thin the veil, making it easier to connect with our loved ones who have passed and our spirit guides. And that's another reason why we may have some life-changing realizations. We're just more open to recognizing them right now. We're more open to downloads. Also, Saturn, the Lord of Karma and our master teacher, is very active under this eclipse, meaning once again that everything happening is part of a bigger plan and our karmic destiny. Also, Venus, the planet of love and relationships, is retrograde during this eclipse. And then shortly after the eclipse reaches its peak, Mercury will also retrograde. So having these two retrograde planets around the eclipse is going to slow us down so that we have time to examine and think about what's happening with all the changes. So take the break. Go slow this month. If you have a chance to do nothing, take it. Yesterday afternoon, there was nothing I needed to do, and of course our minds go down the list of things that we could do. I could mop the floor, work on the podcast, take my defensive driving course to lower my insurance. Instead, I took the chance to slow down and do as little as possible to balance out the energies of the month. Took a slow walk with Jasper, I piddled around the house, I watched some of Meghan Markle's Netflix show, and it was such a nice break from the craziness of the world. So take the breaks. We need them this month. Think of it as caring for your mental health. Now we know blood moons can bring endings, and with Venus currently retrograde, this means relationships are up for review. It may be time to leave a relationship or leave a relationship dynamic behind. Maybe how you are being in a relationship. And then the day after the eclipse, Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury is Virgo's ruler, and this eclipse is happening in Virgo. So this placement amplifies the energy of the eclipse and the Mercury retrograde. And this will likely be the most intense Mercury retrograde we've had in a while because it coincides with eclipse season, Venus retrograde, the spring equinox, and Neptune's shift into Aries. This is a fucking lot. And Mercury goes retrograde in Aries. I do have to say, though, that I love that it's happening in Aries, which is a fire sign. This Mercury retrograde is our chance to change how we perceive reality and how we think. So if you've wanted to be more present or positive or mindful, this is your chance. So we can change our relationship with our minds. It's our chance to let go of self-criticism, overthinking, and perfectionism. I am definitely experiencing this right now. It's like my mind is working differently. And I do think that the Abraham Hicks Wisdom Circle is helping a lot with this too. It just couldn't have been at a better time for that. So this Mercury retrograde also fires us up. We could feel impatient and lose our temper and say things without thinking. So please think before you smack talk. It also gets us to speak up, which is perfect right now when we need to speak up for things that aren't fair or right. So with all of these energies combined, this eclipse will change our lives. It's as simple as that. This eclipse will change our lives. And with some of the shifts happening, it'll take a while to see the benefits, but others will be instant gifts. So look for the gifts. And whatever happens, remember that eclipses, especially blood moon eclipses, always put us where we need to be for our highest good. It may not seem like that at first or for a while, because this eclipse is just the start of changes happening this month. It'll probably take a minute to figure out how all of this works out together. I think of us as coal right now, undergoing this intense pressure to become diamonds. Our job is to stay grounded and patient, knowing this is all for the best. And that's probably gonna take some work. So take the breaks, stay grounded, get outside, take the opportunity to change how you think. I hear that a lot from clients. I wish I could be more present or more positive. Well, right now you can. Right now it's just so much easier to do it. So that is it for the week. Man, I am taking it slow today. I suggest you do the same thing. Taking a little hike with Jasper, maybe a little reading, maybe a quick trip to Costco. So I want to thank all of you for listening and sharing the podcast with a friend. Have a wonderful week, and I will be back next week for the next chapter in this crazy reality show to talk about the spring equinox.